with the early lead. It's Iowa Betty on the outside, Fabian's Friend up on the inside, Barra Buzz. Then it's GH's Pride and Joy in the field. Down the backstretch, it's Iowa Betty out in front by 3 lengths over Barra Buzz. On the outside, that's My Bocephus. Then on the inside, Ginger Fire moves up. GH's Pride and Joy in the field. Rounding the final turn, it's Iowa Betty on top. Down the home stretch, Iowa Betty on the inside, My Bocephus. At the wire, My Bocephus, Iowa Betty, and Barra Buzz.
The presentation of the trophy is going to kennel owner John C. Boyd, joined by son and trainer Stephen Boyd, with the winning greyhound, My Bocephus.
Good morning and welcome to a very special edition of the Dairyland Greyhound Park Report. I'm your host, Mark Padgett. We're going to devote the entire show to the running of the $75,000 Dairyland Open, held on Saturday, April 6th. And we'll be right back after these messages. Luncheon on Thursday, April 4th. Representatives of the 8 finalists selected a wristwatch. Inside the box was a blanket bearing the number and colors their competitor would wear on Saturday. And now let's take a look at the 8 finalists and their trainers. We're with My Bocephus, who'll be starting from the number 1 box, and trainer Stephen Boyd. Stephen, I know at the luncheon you were obviously pleased with the post position. Tell us what the 1 hole means to this greyhound.
Well, I hope he breaks on top, drives the first turn, and it'll be close in the first turn. The inside dog will get a bit of a benefit going around the inside. And if he goes to the front, I don't think there's anyone to pick him up. So I'm looking forward to seeing him break on top.
This greyhound was injured a while back, and he's coming back nicely. Tell us what he's been like since he's come back from the injury.
Okay, well, he broke his leg a year ago in the World Classic at Hollywood. And he was off a year. He's had 10 starts since he broke it. And he's 10 times in the money for 10. So his hock is 100%. And I wish he had never broken it. You don't know what kind of dog he might have been if he never broke it. So the injury is certainly proven to be okay to this point so far. So I'm pleased with it so far.
That's great. I was asking some of the other trainers early on. The entries are divided 4 and 4. 4 Dairyland Greyhounds and 4 outside Greyhounds. What advantages do you have being a home Greyhound, if you will, over some of the outsiders? Or is there even an advantage?
Well, I think there'd be an advantage because the dogs have ran around here before. The dogs coming in have also ran around here, but running when you come back in 2 and 3 days rest on, at a new track is kind of difficult. These dogs are used to it, whereas the dogs coming from outside aren't used to that. But Barra Buzz, he's proven to see that the 2 and 3 days rest doesn't bother him. So until last night, he never ran very good last night, but the one come out and blocked him, and the race was over. So.
That's very good. Well, good luck to greyhound number 1, My Bocephus, and Stephen Boyd, the trainer.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
That's beautiful. Joining us now is trainer Doug Hammond, and the greyhound is starting from the number 2 hole, Barra Buzz. Doug, let's talk about this greyhound. This greyhound's been in her share of stakes races.
Yeah, he has. He broke in at Kansas City last year in their first year and run pretty good. And this year he made the finals of that Wichita shootout, and he ran second to that Iowa Betty. And then he made the finals of the Woodland sprint race and ran 5th. So he's had his share so far.
That's great. What does the number 2 box mean to your competitor?
Well, he's going to have to break pretty sharp to get out of the 2 hole because he likes to run kind of mid-track. Okay. And hopefully he'll break better than he did last time.
How is he taken to the track surface here as an outside greyhound coming to a new racing surface? Has that presented any problems for you?
No, I think he's taken it pretty good. It surprised me that he's taken this fast.
I know that the Woodlands and Dairyland, when you talk about greyhound racing, 2 of the big-name tracks in the United States. Right. What are some of the other similarities you see in this track to the Woodlands?
Well, the surface to me looks to be about the same. It's good footing.
The competition is tough?
Yeah, it's tough in both places.
Well, good. So. Doug, good luck to you on Saturday, and good luck to the number 2 greyhound.
Okay, thank you.
Joining us now is Jim Abernathy of the Abernathy Kennel, and number 3, Ginger Fire. Jim, let's talk about Ginger Fire from the 3 box. What can the fans look for? What are you hoping for out of the 3 box?
I'm just hoping that she breaks on top, and if she doesn't break on top, I'm hoping she breaks decent. and everything else moves out from the rail and gives her a chance to get to the inside going around the first turn, because if there's a hole, she'll go for it.
She's off to a great start here in 1991. She's currently the track leader win leader with 9. She's also the smallest greyhound entered in this race. Does size have anything to do with the race as you see it?
No. Speed and heart probably are the most 2 important things in dog racing. She has the speed and she has the heart, so let's see if she can win the stake race. We'll know Saturday night.
The entries are equally divided between the Dairyland dogs and the Woodland dogs. The fans here in Dairyland certainly know Ginger Fire. Some of the outside greyhounds, who are you looking for to give you the most trouble on Saturday night?
Bear Buzz, a few breaks. Iowa Betty has her hole. She likes the outside, the 8 holes. So looking at those 2, and the 2 dogs Erwin Lewis brought in, they look like they're pretty tough, too. They ran good in the qualifying rounds and everything.
Well, good luck to you Saturday night. Number 3, Ginger Fire, and trainer Jim Abernathy.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Joining us now is Randall Lewis, Jr., the trainer of the number 4 Greyhound, Fabian's Friend. This is another Greyhound from the Woodlands. Tell us a little bit about this pup.
Well, he really needs to take the lead early to hang on. He does come up a little short. And the 4-hole, I wish he'd have sort of had the outside, because he does break better out of the outside. But like I say, he does need to take the lead early to really compete. And,
the big Greyhound weighs 75 pounds, the big, powerful runner. What does the track surface mean to an outside Greyhound coming into Dairyland? Has he had any problem with the racing surface?
No, he really hasn't. It's been good, and he has held up for a couple of wins, and really look forward to him going to the front maybe and see if he can hold off these other good dogs. So,
well, that sounds great. There he is, Greyhound number 4, and your trainer, Randall Lewis, Jr. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joining us again is a lucky trainer to have 2 entries in this race. Most trainers are thrilled to get 1, and he's fortunate to have 2. We're with Stephen Boyd and Kyoto Flash. Kyoto Flash was actually tied after the 3 first qualifying rounds and was entered or became a finalist as a result of a draw. Were you in the room when the drawing took place?
No, I was on the telephone when they did it, actually. And I didn't realize there was 3 dogs. I just thought there was the 2. Red Buttons is also my dog. And I just thought I had 1 in for sure. And when he said there's 3, I said, oh, no. And then he just said that they flipped the card, and he said, Kyoto Flash, he made it in. So I was real pleased.
That's great. This Greyhound is really off to a good start here in 1991. I think the fans can certainly know, or do certainly know, Kyoto Flash. Tell us a little bit about this Greyhound and what the 5-hole means to Kyoto Flash.
Well, he runs the rail. He doesn't like the outside very much. If he goes down the turn, 2nd or 3rd, and hugs the inside, and he'll be tough. He's been in 6 or 7 different stake races, and he's yet to win one. You probably could guarantee that he'd run 2nd or 3rd or 4th. Hopefully he would win. I would much rather have him in the 1 box and Bo Stevens in the 5, but that's the way the draw goes.
Well, that sounds great. Good luck to Greyhound number 5, and good luck to Stephen Boyd with 2 entries.
Thank you.
Joining us now is John Filippelli, Jr., the trainer of Noisy Noise. And, John, this Greyhound's going to be starting from the 6th box. What are your thoughts on that position, and what kind of a Greyhound will this be out of the 6th hole?
Well, Mark, the 6th hole really wasn't a favorable position. I think the setup of the race, though, with the early speed dogs all on the inside, some coming in, some going out, may cause enough room for Noisy to get clear to the turn. I think probably the dog to beat, though, would be the 8 dog, because she's in a very favorable position and ran real well out of the 8-hole her last elimination race.
Let's talk about Noisy Noise. The fans here at Dairyland have certainly come to like this Greyhound. Off to a real good start here in 1991. What's Noisy Noise like off the track? What kind of a Greyhound is this?
Well, he's kind of shy, as you can see. His temperament's really calm, and he's all business kind of a dog. He's a very clean dog. He's real good in the kennel. He gets along with all the other dogs, and he's a real nice temperament.
As far as the outside Greyhounds, the field is split evenly, 4 and 4. 4 from Dairyland, 4 from the outside. What challenges do the outside dogs present to you as a trainer?
Well, they're definitely going to be tough contenders. There's real no home field advantage situation here with this caliber of Greyhounds. The race is wide open, whether it be an out-of-state dog or a local dog. It'll be a tough race.
Does a local dog have an advantage as far as the track surface goes? This Greyhound's obviously used to the track surface. Is that any factor at all, John?
I don't believe so, because most of these dogs have had 4 or 5 or 6 starts on this surface. And really, being that the climate is similar from where most of these dogs came from, the adjustment period is really pretty short.
Well, good luck to you, John Filippelli Jr. and number 6, Noisy Noise. Okay, joining us now is Greyhound number 7, GH's Pride and Joy, and the trainer, Randall Lewis Jr. Randall, tell us about this Greyhound. He's from the Woodlands. The Dairyland fans might not be familiar with this Greyhound. What should they look for when he takes the track?
He really needs to get out a little early and get the rail early. And I really wish he would have got an inside hole. But he has one out of 7 holes, so we're looking forward to it.
He's a good racer at the Woodlands. I know earlier in the year he had a winning streak of about 6 straight races. But also it mentions on his biography that this is his first major stakes race. Greyhound has had some big wins, but is really unproven in the stakes races. How do you prepare a dog for a stakes race as opposed to a normal race? Is there any difference?
Not really. I wouldn't do anything different. And just treat him well, a lot of teamwork, and it's a lot of fun. And my sister trains him in Kansas City.
Okay.
And so she sent him up to me. She really does a good job herself. And so, like I say, I hope he gets to the rail early.
That sounds great. Well, good luck to Greyhound number 7, and good luck to you.
Thanks.
And last but certainly not least is the number 8 Greyhound, Iowa Betty. One of the certainly has to be considered one of the favorites in this race. And our trainer is Jim Hammond. Jim, when you were at the luncheon, you drew the 8 box. What was your first reaction?
I couldn't believe it. It was just, it's kind of like an answered prayer, you know, because she loves the 7 and 8 hole. And this is a tough field of dogs. And I felt like in order for us to win it, we needed to draw from the 5 to the 8, and the 8's perfect.
That's great.
So we're excited.
She's off to a good start here in 91. 90 was a good year for Iowa Betty. She won a couple of major races. How do you compare the field in those races to this race?
This is tougher, I believe. Of course, we ran against Barra Buzz in the shootout in Kansas, and that was a tough race. And I believe overall the dogs are probably as tough or maybe a little tougher here.
This is a well-traveled Greyhound. Iowa Betty is on tour, if you will. She appears at many tracks, the stakes, one of the better stakes racers. How does she take to traveling?
Great. I tell you what, she just kind of lays down and she's no problem at all. A lot of dogs don't travel too well. You know, they have a tendency to get antsy and don't want to lay down, but she travels perfect. She's just almost what you'd call a perfect Greyhound. She's good in the kennel, and we really enjoyed her.
Well, the field is 4 outside Greyhounds, 4 Dairyland Greyhounds. It should be a great race. Good luck to you on Saturday, and good luck to you, Betty.
Thank you.
When we return, we'll check the big post parade for Saturday night's race. Uppers on the track side as we pick up the introductions with Steve Hemmings, sports director at WLIP Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 8 Greyhounds who will compete for the prestige and prize money of the $75,000 Dairyland Open are about to come onto the track. Tonight's finalists survived 3 rounds of qualifying over the 5/16 mile course against some of the fastest greyhounds in the country. Now let's meet the elite. In post position number 1, My Bocephus at 73 pounds. My Bocephus is being led onto the track by assistant trainer Cynthia Delaney and leadout John Miller. My Bocephus is owned by Bill Woodall, trained by Stephen Boyd, and races for the John C. Boyd Kennel. This son of Jocks Warrior and Susie York is in the midst of a brilliant comeback. My Bocephus won the first 2 rounds of the 1990 World Classic in Hollywood, Florida, before suffering an injury. And following a layoff, he's made 10 starts, including 5 wins. One of those in the qualifying for tonight's stakes event. That's number 1, My Bocephus. In post position number 2, Barabuzz at 70 pounds. Barabuzz being led onto the track by trainer Dave Hammond and leadout Kevin Bloomer. Barabuzz is owned by Ronald Beckner, trained by Doug Hammond, and races for the E.L.R.G. Beckner Kennel. This son of Barra Ray and Buzzoff is among the track win leaders at the Woodlands in Kansas City. Barabuzz was runner-up in the 1990 Great Kansas Shootout and also finished second in the 1990 People's Choice in Kansas behind All-American Blendway. He earned victories in the first 2 rounds of qualifying for tonight's race. That's number 2, Barabuzz. In post position number 3, Ginger Fire at 56 pounds. Ginger Fire is being led onto the track by trainer Lamar Collins and leadout Jeff Hartnell. Ginger Fire is owned by Joe Smedley Jr., trained by Lamar Collins, and races for the Abernathy Kennel. This daughter of Darrell Ram and Wendy Ross has accounted for 9 wins already this season at Dairyland and has notched 24 lifetime wins since breaking in here last summer. She finished 3rd in the Dairyland Futurity in December and gained a spot in the final tonight with a victory in Wednesday's 3rd round of qualifying. That's number 3, Ginger Fire. In post position number 4, Fabian's Friend at 74 pounds. Fabian's Friend is being led onto the track by assistant trainer Cynthia Casperson and leadout Sergei Fedek. Fabian's Friend is owned by Edward Govan and Claude Spain, trained by Randall Lewis, and races for the Irwin Nelson Kennel. This son of Meadow Smoke and Peso Quinto is another invader from the Woodlands, where he posted 14 victories in 36 starts. One of the quickest to the turn, Fabian's Friend was a finalist in both the Kansas City Sprint Championship and People's Choice Stakes. He also scored a first-round triumph in qualifying for the Open. That's number 4, Fabian's Friend. In post position number 5, Kyoto Flash at 68.5 pounds. Kyoto Flash being led onto the track by assistant trainer John Smith and leadout Tim Martin. Kyoto Flash is owned by Clintus Harrison, trained by Stephen Boyd, and races for the John C. Boyd Kennel. This son of My Strutter and Kiowa Flash is the veteran campaigner of tonight's field and has competed against the best greyhounds in the country while in the Grady Sprint Championship of 1989 in Massachusetts and both the 1990 Wheeling Invitational in West Virginia and Stroh's Invitational in Colorado. Kyoto Flash has won 13 of 28 starts at Dairyland, including a qualifying round victory on Wednesday. That's number 5, Kyoto Flash. In post position number 6, Noisy Noise at 69 pounds. Noisy Noise being led onto the track by trainer John Filippelli Jr. and leadout Tracy Hayes. Noisy Noise is owned by Pauline O'Donnell, trained by John Filippelli Jr., and races for the James E. O'Donnell Kennel. The son of Dee Dee's Mod 5 and Noisy Ace has tallied 8 victories this season at Dairyland with 13 Quinella finishes from 18 starts. Noisy Noise was the only greyhound to record wins in all 3 qualifying rounds for tonight's stakes. He has 20 first-place finishes in his career at Dairyland. That's number 6, Noisy Noise. In post position number 7, GH's Pride and Joy at 73 pounds. GH's Pride and Joy is being led onto the track by trainer Randall Lewis and lead-out Bobby Franco. GH's Pride and Joy is owned by George Harlan, trained by Randall Lewis, and races for the Irwin Nelson Kennel. This son of Barry Lyndon and out of state is yet another invader from the woodlands in Kansas and making his first appearance in a major stakes race. GH's Pride and Joy put together a string of 6 straight victories at the woodlands prior to coming to Dairyland and has added 4 wins here, including 2 in the stakes qualifying. That's number 7, GH's Pride and Joy. In post position number 8, Iowa Betty at 59 pounds. Iowa Betty is being led onto the track by trainer Jim Hammond and lead-out Jeff Gerard. Iowa Betty is owned by Gregory Klein, trained by Jim Hammond, and races for the Mountain Valley Kennel. This daughter of Rapid Bobby D and Heavenly is the youngest of tonight's talented field, but has already won a stakes event, the Great Kansas Shootout, and been nominated for the Rural Rube Award given to the nation's best sprinters. Iowa Betty won 11 straight races earlier this season and comes into this race with 2 in a row, including the fastest time in the qualifying. That's number 8, Iowa Betty. Those are the 8 Greyhounds who are about to go postward in hopes of claiming the title of Dairyland Open Champion. There's not a finer field going postward in the country tonight. Immediately following the running of this race, there will be a presentation ceremony featuring the winning Greyhound and his connection. We invite you to enjoy this outstanding race and then join us in saluting the champ.
We'll be back with the race after this short timeout.
100.
Well, the stage is set. Let's look at the race.
And they're off with the early lead. It's Iowa Betty on the outside, Fabian's Friend up on the inside, Barra Buzz, then it's GH's Pride and Joy in the field. Down the backstretch, it's Iowa Betty out in front by 3 lengths over Barra Buzz. On the outside, that's My Bocephus. Then on the inside, Ginger Fire moves up. GH's Pride and Joy in the field. Rounding the final turn, it's Iowa Betty on top. Down the home stretch, Iowa Betty on the inside, My Bocephus. At the wire, My Bocephus, Iowa Betty, and Barra Buzz.
Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation now goes to the winning Greyhound, My Bocephus, who is joined by a number of dignitaries representing the governor tonight and the state of Wisconsin, the administrator for the Department of Tourism, Moose Spiros. The presentation of the trophy is going to kennel owner John C. Boyd, joined by son and trainer Stephen Boyd, with the winning Greyhound, My Bocephus, and assistant trainers Cynthia Delaney and John Smith, along with the presentation with Dairyland CEO and President Arden Hartman and General Manager Ron Saltemeyer. Let's have a hand for winning Greyhound, My Bocephus.
We're here in the winner's circle with trainer Stephen Boyd, a very happy Stephen Boyd. Stephen, it was an awfully exciting race. What were your thoughts as My Bocephus was closing on the leader?
Oh, down the backside, I was just rooting for him to come home, and just coming down the front stretch here, he took the inside. I just was, come on, and then finally hit the wire. He just picked him up, and what a feeling it is. I'm still shaking over the whole thing.
Iowa Betty got off to a great start and looked, she was uncatchable, but yet My Bocephus never gave up.
Yeah, that's the kind of dog he is. He's got a lot of heart. For a dog to come back with that kind of injury that he's had and to come back and win a race like this is just, it's incredible. It's just, it's a super Greyhound race. It sure was.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now you can add this.
Let's look at the entries in the featured 11th race. Grade SA, 5/16ths of a mile. This is a great race, a special hand-selected field to celebrate Dairyland's 1-year anniversary. This hot box, they'll be competing for $1,000 in added purse money. Breaking from box number 1, Greyhound, who's won 6 of her last 8 races, looking for 3 straight wins, Dutch Class of the Herb Corner Kennel. Number 2, we don't have to say much about this big fella, Exarban Duke, all-world, all-American, 89 pounds of thunder, racing from the Abernathy Kennel. Number 3, Rejuvenator. In his last 13 outings, this greyhound has finished no worse than second only 1 time. Number 4, My Bocephus, winner of the 1990 Dairyland Open, been off for a few weeks, resting up, returning to top form. Number 5, New Single. New Single's coming off a win, and Sheik also holds the track record here at Dairyland for the 5/16 mile course. Number 6 is Dan Chandler. This greyhound's been a tremendous surprise since coming to Dairyland, looking for 5 straight wins, one of 1991's more impressive racers. In box number 7, our current track win leader, Noisy Noise, looking for his 18th win on the year. And rounding out the field in box number 8, one of the young rising stars here at Dairyland, the youngest greyhound in this field, best by far, racing for the Boyd Thorne Polk Kennel. Let's look at what promises to be an outstanding race.
And they're off. On the break, it's 7 on the outside, heading towards the rail with 8 now out in front and 1 in the first turn. It's 8, best by far, pulling away from the field, but 1, Dutch Class in second. It's 8, 1, 2, 6, 7, 5, 3, and 4 as they hit the far turn. It's 8, best by far. Here they come to the wire in the hot box feature. It's 8, best by far, 2.
Here are the entries.
5.
A special hot box race highlighted the card on Dairyland's 1-year anniversary this past Thursday. The field was impressive and included track win leader Noisy Noise, track record holder New Single, and 1991 Dairyland Open winner My Bocephus. However, it was the youngest greyhound in the race, number 8, best by far, of the Boyd Thorne Polk Kennel, upsetting the field, crossing the finish line 4 lengths ahead of number 2 Exarban Duke. In third place was number 7, Noisy Noise.
And they're off. On the break, it's 7 on the outside, heading towards the rail with 8 now out in front and 1 in the first turn. It's 8, best by far, pulling away from the field, but 1, Dutch Class in second. It's 8, 1, 2, 6, 7, 5, 3, and 4 as they hit the far turn. It's 8, best by far. Here they come to the wire in the hot box feature. It's 8, best by far, 2. Exarban Duke in second.
One of the most...
And they're off. On the break, it's 8, 7, 1. Down the stretch, it's 8 up on top, followed by 3, 1, 4. Into the first turn, 8. Still up on top, Foster's Bruce, followed by 1, Victor, and 3. Down the back stretch, it's 8, 1, 2, 3. Spinning into the final turn, it's 8, Foster's Bruce, still up on top, followed by Victor. Coming down this wire, it's 8, 1, 2. At the wire, it's Foster's Bruce.
Welcome back. The finals of the $25,000 Dairyland Sprint took place this past Saturday evening, July 6th. The original field of 40 greyhounds had been narrowed to 8 following 3 rounds of intense qualifying. Let's go back to Saturday night as we pick up the post-parade and meet the 8 finalists with our track announcer, Phil Bardwell.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the running of the second annual $25,000 Dairyland Sprint. Tonight, we feature some of Dairyland's finest athletes. Each kennel has had the opportunity to submit 3 entries to this competition. Each entry competed in 3 special qualifying rounds that determined the final 8 athletes. This evening, we feature these outstanding greyhounds as they compete to take home a share of the $25,000 purse. The greyhounds are now on the track and await the blanket and muzzle inspection by head leadout Jason Molinaro. In post position number 1, weighing 71 pounds, we have Vix Victor from the Houndskeeper Kennel. This dark brindle male was whelped in March of 1989 by Marine Trader out of Chaos Witch. This greyhound is featured with the second highest in-the-money finish record in this field. Vix Victor accumulated 30 points in the qualifying round and is owned by Donna Welch and Vic Carusi and trained by Pat Schmidtke. He is being led out to post by leadout Scott Cardinelli. In post position number 2, weighing 66.5 pounds, we have Straight Away from the G.A. Alderson Kennel. This dark brindle male was whelped in December of 1988 by Land out of Vanilla Fire. This athlete won 2 straight victories in his past 2 races and accumulated a total of 40 points in the qualifying rounds. He tied with Best Toby with the highest points received during the qualifying rounds. Straight Away is owned by L.V. Crawford and A. Alderson and trained by Ellen Alderson. He is being led out to post by leadout Jeff Gerard. In post position number 3, weighing 71.5 pounds, we have Best Toby of the Nova Kennel. This red-colored male was whelped in March of 1988 by Classic Chase out of Interface. This athlete tied with Straight Away in total accumulating points during the qualifying rounds. This speedster clocked the fastest qualifying time of 30 and 68 100ths of a second. Best Toby is owned by Nova Kennel and trained by William King. He is being led out to post by leadout Tim Martin. In post position number 4, weighing 58 pounds, we have Little Prophet from the James E. O'Donnell Kennel. This brindle female was whelped in December of 1988 by Dee Dee's Mod 5 out of the Final Prophet. This greyhound won her first 2 qualifying rounds and came away with a total of 36 points. Little Prophet is owned by James E. O'Donnell Jr. and trained by John Filippelli Jr. She's being led out to post by Steve Zeman. In post position number 5, weighing 67 pounds, we have Innival Cornbread, one of 2 qualifiers in the final from the Mike Kugler Kennel. This brindle female was whelped in January of 1988 by CNB Scene out of Cornbread and Jam. This greyhound athlete features 3 straight wins in a row from the 3/8 course and scored a win in her first qualifying round by coming up from 7th at the 1/8 call. Innival Cornbread scored 26 points and is owned by Mike Kugler, Incorporated, and trained by Don Kress. She is being led out to post by Ryan Zarnecki. In post position number 6, weighing 79 pounds, we have Get Serious, the second entry from the Mike Kugler Kennel. This fawn brindle male was whelped in January of 1988 by CNNB and Scene out of Did Ya Miss Me. This greyhound has the distinction of being the heaviest competitor of this field and of being Dairyland's number 3 win getter for the season. He scored 25 points during his qualifying rounds. Get Serious is owned by Mike Kugler Incorporated and trained by Don Kress. He is being led out the post by Kevin Bloomer. In post position number 7, weighing 65.5 pounds, we have Twilight Striper from the Black and Ward Kennel. This brindle female was whelped in December of 1987 by Dark Rumor out of Jennifer Tennille and is from the Black and Ward Kennel. This seasoned veteran of racing is the oldest in this field, scoring 27 points during her qualifying rounds. Twilight Striper is owned by Philip L. Harris and trained by Chris Enrique. She is being led out by Serge Spedic. And finally, in post position number 8, weighing 75.5 pounds, we have Foster's Bruce from the Rainbow Kennel. This blue fawn brindle-colored male was whelped in July of 1989 by Billy Bale out of Royal Foxy. This athlete comes in tonight's featured race as the youngest with only 18 lifetime starts and winning a third of those starts. Beating the odds against him, he won his last qualifying round, scoring a sum total of 24 points. Foster's Bruce is owned by David F. Cahill and trained by Ken Farver. He is being led out the post by Kira Lilly. There you have them, fans. The entries for the running of the second annual $25,000 Dairyland Sprint. We wish these fine athletes the best of luck.
Well, the stage is now set. 8 of the fastest sprinters in the Dairyland Kennel Complex are being loaded into the starting box. Time now to see who wins the second annual Dairyland Sprint and take home the winner's share of $12,500.
And they're off. On the break, it's 8, 7, 1. Down the stretch, it's 8 up on top, followed by 3, 1, 4. Into the first turn, 8. Still up on top, Foster's Bruce, followed by 1, Victor, and 3. Down the back stretch, it's 8, 1, 2, 3. Spinning into the final turn, it's 8. Foster's Bruce still up on top, followed by Victor. Coming down this wire, it's 8, 1, 2. At the wire, it's Foster's Bruce.
Congratulations to Foster Bruce of the Rainbow Kennel. Paul Lorenz had a chance to chat with the winning trainer and team after the race.
Hello, I'm Paul Lorenz, and I'm here with trainer Ken Farver of the Rainbow Kennel and owner David Cahill and his son George of Foster's Bruce, the winner of this year's $25,000 Dairyland Sprint. Ken, Foster Bruce is a 2-year-old pup, and when you saw the entries of 40 and you entered Foster's Bruce, how did you feel? Were you ready for this race, or tell us a little bit about what you felt about Foster's Bruce winning this?
Well, we wasn't sure we was doing the right thing when we entered him. He was a young pup, and we was hoping he'd get better as he got going, and which he did. And I'm glad he ran that way, but, you know, I'm glad we entered him because he showed us that tonight that he had that speed, and that's what I liked about him. He had that speed out of the turn, and that's what we was looking for to win this race.
What's next for Foster's Bruce? Are we looking at the distance, or are we just going to keep him and for the futurity?
No, we're going to keep him in 5/16 for now, and just hope he gets better and better with what he's been doing. And that's what we're looking for.
Excellent. And, Dave, what's your background here? Ownership, have you had any other stakes dogs? And if you have, how does Foster's Bruce match up to your other stakes racers?
Well, he's looking very well. And like Kenny says, he's improving every race. And we had some very good dogs, and both Rover and Huey's Ace. Matter of fact, an uncle of Foster Bruce's, and Harry's Ace. And we had quite a few other stakes dogs down the years. But this pup looks, especially in the third round of the stakes, he looked outstanding the way he ran, the way he broke out, and he was in with great dogs. There's some great dogs here.
Okay, thank you. Are you looking ahead to the futurity? I know that might be a little superstitious, but being a young pup, breaking his maiden here, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel great about it, and I'm going to leave it up to Kenny. He's a great trainer, and a lot of respect for Kenny and Billy O'Donnell, Ken Lohner, and it's up to them, really. They have done this, and I wish them the best, and I'm very proud to be with them. And also the people of the track here in the Cross are very nice people, and they're very good to us.
Excellent. George, would you like to say a couple words about this fine pup?
Yeah, what can I say? I'm very proud of Bruce. I think he ran an excellent race, and I think he's got plenty of potential for the future.
Okay, thank you. That's our look at what the trainers and the owners feel.
Thanks, Paul. When we return, we'll answer a viewer mail question. Exciting stakes race coming up. Stay with us. This week only, featuring the top middle distance athletes here in Kenosha. 3 rounds of qualifying were completed, and the field was narrowed to just 8 racers. Let's go now to track announcer Brian Walters and meet the 8 finalists.
In post position number 1, it's Lissa's Clipper at 70 pounds. Lissa's Clipper is by X's Call Me Sir out of Sandy's Lissa. Lissa's Clipper is one of the 2 entries in the final from the David Lingle Kennel. He's the only Greyhound to make the final undefeated in qualification. Lys's Clipper is tied for second in total wins and has earned more purse money than any other finalist this year at Dairyland. Trained by Donald Daigneault, Lys's Clipper is being led this evening by Scott Cardinelli. Number 2 is Phantom Drive at 74.5 pounds. Phantom Drive is by Rooster Spur out of Fashion Wise of the Heatherbrook Farms Kennel. Phantom Drive finished second in total points during qualifying. He turned in the fastest qualifying time at 38 52/100ths of a second, which was also the largest win margin at 10 lengths. In round 1, the Heatherbrook Speedster had the biggest upset win, returning $27.60. Trained by Ken Derby, Phantom Drive is being led to the post this evening by Diane Schlegel. In 3, it's Podjot Awesome at 68 pounds. Podjot Awesome is by Chevy Monte Carlo out of Blooms from the Abernathy Kennel. Podjot Awesome broke his maiden in his first start this year. He has finished 11 out of his last 14 starts in the money. In round 3, the Abernathy Speedster found racing room down the stretch to close on the leaders and win by half a length. Trained by Lamar Collins, Podjot Awesome is being led this evening by Scott Zemer. In post position number 4, it's Rocking Randall at 69.5 pounds. Rocking Randall is by Sports Review out of Tina Hurry from the Irwin Nelson Kennel. Rocking Randall is the only Greyhound to make the final without a qualifying tally. However, he was a consistent with 2 seconds and a third. The Irwin Nelson Speedster is the oldest competitor on the field at 3 years and 1 month. Trained by Randall Lewis, Rocking Randall is being led this evening by Ryan Zarnecki. In 5, it's Angela's As I Am at 62 pounds. Angela's As I Am is by Jocks Warrior out of Che Angela and is the second entry in tonight's finals from the David Lingle Kennel. Angela's As I Am is also one of 2 females in the final and is the youngest pup of the field at 2 years and 1 month. Trained by Donald Daigneault, Angela's As I Am is being led to the post this evening by Rachel Twist. In number 6, it's McPee's Steffi. McPee's Steffi is by Prophet Andy out of Bunny Paws and is from the Black and Ward Kennel. McPee's Steffi is the other female in tonight's field of 8. Before coming to Dairyland in May, the Black and Ward Speedster competed in qualifying for the St. Petersburg Derby in Florida. Trained by Chris Enrique, McPee's Steffi is led tonight by Kira Lilly. In post position 7, it's Dickey Valley at 63.5 pounds. Dickey Valley is by Rudy Valley out of Kay's Purple Haze from the A.M. Trello Kennel. Dickey Valley romped home in a box-to-wire finish in round 3 to make the final cut. The Trello Speedster has raced exclusively on the 3/8 course since coming to Dairyland last May and has not dropped below grade A since the start of qualifying. Trained by Richard Child, Dickey Valley is being led to the post by Jason Eckerness. Rounding out the field in post position number 8, it's Smash-a-Buck at 73 pounds from the Mike Kugler Kennel. Smash-a-Buck is by Understood out of CD Shot. Smash-a-Buck is another finalist in the field who broke his maiden this year at Dairyland. Currently, the Kugler Speedster has been in the money 8 out of the last 9 starts. Trained by Don Kress, Smash-a-Buck is being led to the post by Jeff Gerard. There you have it, tonight's field for the $30,000 Dairyland Derby.
Well, the stage is set, and it's now post time. Sit back and enjoy the running of the second annual $30,000 Dairyland Derby.
And they're off. It's number 1, Lys's Clipper, out on the box, out on top with 7 on the outside. That's Dickey Valley. Down the front stretch, it's 1 and 7 in the lead with 5, 8, 6, 3, 2, and 4. Dickey Valley takes the lead in the escape turn. Number 7 with 1, Lys's Clipper in second. It's 5, Angela's As I Am, and 8, Smash a Buck. Down the backstretch, into the far turn, 7, Dickey Valley the leader with 1, Lys's Clipper. Here they come to the wire, 7, Dickey Valley in the lead with 1, Lys's Clipper coming on strong. It's 8, Smash a Buck in third.
Congratulations to Dickey Valley, winner of the Dairyland Derby, and hats off to trainer Richard Child and the owner George Benjamin. I would also like to extend a special congrats to kennel operator Bud Trello. Bud is one of only 2 Wisconsin-owned kennels competing here at Dairyland, and he has worked awfully hard to be competitive here at the nation's premier greyhound racing facility. This is the first major stakes win for the A.M. Trello Kennel. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
And they're off. It's 7, Shiver. No kick out on the break. 8 on the outside is Dickey Valley. 1 on the inside. Leading the way down the front stretch is Pro's High Gear. Pro's High Gear with 7 Mo Kick. 2 in third is Schemar Clarinet in the escape turn. Leading the way down the backstretch, Pro's High Gear number 1. Then Schemar Clarinet. On the outside is Mo Kick. In fourth, it's number 4, FMC's Wake Up. Here they come to the wire in the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Number 2, Schemar Clarinet with 6 on the outside. It's too close to call. And
welcome to the Dairyland Greyhound Park Report. I'm your host, Brian Walters. On tonight's show, we'll take an in-depth look at the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup that was held here at Dairyland last Saturday night. We'll take that look right after this message. This past Thursday afternoon, a noontime luncheon was held in our VIP room here at Dairyland when the trainers of our 8 contestants were asked to make a draw to determine post positions for Saturday evening's Miller Invitational. About 65 people were on hand, including local members of the media, kennel personnel, a number of Dairyland officials, and state presiding steward Rick Higgins. Rick was there to officiate the draw. The entrance names were shuffled and selected at random, and each Greyhound's trainer was then asked to select one of 8 capped Miller beer cans in which a miniature post position was concealed. As those post positions were drawn, their names were put up at the appropriate place on a big board in front of the crowd. After the draw, Paul Lorenz had a chance to talk with several of the trainers for this year's $100,000 Miller Invitational race.
We're here after the post position draw with the trainers of the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. John Levatore here with Pro's High Gear. John, you drew the 1 box. How do you feel about that with the rail?
No, I like it.
Yeah, couldn't be better.
I'd like to see him break in the middle of the pack, but he goes right to the rail in the turns.
So a quick break, and then
he should be out in front.
Okay, thank you. Good luck. Tom Farrell here with the ML Tater. Tom, you got yourself a track record holder out here coming up 3/8. It's a little longer distance here in the 3/8. How do you feel about your chances here?
Well, I feel real good. The extra 50 feet, I believe, be in her favor.
Kind of a closer, got a little kick at the end?
A little kick at the end. Post position, I really like. I'd rather have the 1, actually, but three boxes should be good.
Okay, Tom, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Tom LaRosa, trainer of Bob's Metroplex. Bob's Metroplex, big winner there in the Wonderland Derby. How do you feel of him breaking out in the middle of the pack? I think he had the 6 box in the Derby.
Yeah, the 5 and 6 box is not bad for him. Any hole's good for him because he's got good box speed. Comes right out. So I'm not too disappointed with the 5 hole, you know.
Have you had a chance to look at the rest of the competition at the lines? You think his speed will hold out?
I hope so. I think the 6 doesn't really have too much of a break, so he should get out of the box pretty good, and hopefully he'll be in front and then have to come and get him. So it takes a good dog to come and get him.
Okay, Tom, thanks a lot. Good luck. J.R. Main, trainer of Mo Kick. J.R., you got a young pup here. He looks pretty strong. He's been racing, again, at Biscayne. It's a little shorter here. You're going to have to go a little farther. You think this pup's got it?
Well, I'll tell you, he's run at Flagler. Last night was the first time he's ever been 2,030 feet. Looked okay to me. I wasn't really excited about getting a certain hole. I was hoping he'd draw outside, and that's what he did. So, we'll take a shot. He's a young dog,
Okay, draw on the outside. Should be able to hopefully get a break. And you think he'll go right for the rail, or where do you think he'll head?
Kick runs right down the middle of the racetrack. So, it really didn't matter what hole he got. I know some people, needed certain holes. It really didn't matter. There's so much speed in this race that, whoever goes to turns is probably going to be the dog to beat.
Welcome back. Our post positions are set. Now all we have to do is wait for the race Saturday night. We had a good crowd on hand. It was a beautiful evening here at Dairyland. 6,500-plus race fans waiting to see the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Steve Imming, WLIP Radio Sports Director, was our master of ceremonies trackside. Here's how it went for the post parade for the Miller Invitational Cup.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to watch the best race in the country this evening and most likely in the country this year. But before we introduce to you the 8 finalists for this evening's invitational, I'd like to direct your attention eastward to the end of the front stretch and our 1990 Dairyland Invitational Cup champion, Red Hill Jake. Red Hill Jake from the Herb Kerner Kennel won last year's Cup with a winning time of 38.92 seconds. Red Hill Jake was later elected captain of the all-world middle distance team. Our 1990 Dairyland Cup champion, Red Hill Jake, with leadout Jason Eckernes. Let's have a round of applause for Red Hill Jake. And now, the 8 Greyhounds in tonight's big race. In post position number 1, it's Pro's High Gear at 67 pounds. Pro's High Gear is by My Unicorn out of La Bistella from the C&W Kennel. Pro's High Gear was the winner of the $50,000 American Greyhound Derby in Lincoln, Rhode Island. Pro's High Gear is trained by John Libatore, a 16-year veteran in Greyhound training. He has trained his share of champions, including all-world member Quicksack, former world record holder Pro Stormer, Grade A champion Hondo Barbarian, and Hound City. This is John's first start at Dairyland. Post position number 1 occupied by Pro's High Gear from Wonderland Greyhound Park, Revere, Massachusetts. Pro's High Gear is being led to the post by Dennis Gunderson. In post position number 2, Skimar Clarinet, 57 1/2 pounds. Skimar Clarinet is by journalist Gika out of Bee's Coffee from the Skimar Kennel. Skimar Clarinet was the winner of the $125,000 Florida World Challenge. Skimar Clarinet is trained by Mike Morrissey, who owns and operates Skimar Kennels. Involved in greyhound racing for the past 21 years, his biggest victory to date has been Skimar's Gala's win in the Plainfield, Connecticut Derby. Mike is making his first appearance tonight at Dairyland, but is no stranger to Wisconsin, operating a kennel at Geneva Lakes Kennel Club. In post position number 2, Skimar Clarinet from Geneva Lakes Kennel Club. Skimar Clarinet being led this evening by Steve Lamping. In post position number 3, it's ML Tater at 61 pounds. M.L. Tater is by Nicky Finn out of Angie's Angle from the Farrell Kennel. M.L. Tater is the 3/8 mile record holder at Jacksonville and the 5/16 record holder at St. John's. M.L. Tater is trained by Tom Farrell. Showing his best year, Tom oversees 600 Greyhounds. He has trained major stakes winners, including World Classic winner Hello Higsby, Mr. Celeste, Morris the Cat, and Mr. Tomcat. This is also Tom's first start at Dairyland. Post position number 3, M.L. Tater from the Jacksonville Kennel Club, Jacksonville, Florida. M.L. Tater being led to post by Anthony Booker. Our next athlete in post position number 4 is FMC's Wake Up at 71 pounds. FMC's Wake Up is by DG's Tutu out of Downing Skinny from FMC's Midnight Kennel. FMC's Wake Up is the winner of the $50,000 Kansas City Sprint Championship and the $10,000 Great Texas Bred Showdown. FMC's Wake Up is trained by D.D. Lewis. D.D. currently trains 53 Greyhounds at the Woodlands. Taking over the training of FMC's Wake Up in February, he took the Light Brindle Speedster to the Sunflower Stakes, where he won all qualifying rounds before finishing 6th in the final after a bumping incident out of post 8. This is D.D.'s first start at Dairyland. In post position 4, FMC's Wake Up from the Woodlands in Kansas City, Kansas. FMC's Wake Up being led this evening by Scott Cardinelli. We're now at post position number 5 in Bob's Metroplex at 74 1/2 pounds. Bob's Metroplex is by Classic Chase out of Moki Fraggle from the La Rosa Enterprises Incorporated Kennels. Bob's Metroplex is the winner of the $170,000 Wonderland Derby. Bob's Metroplex is trained by Tom La Rosa with 16 years in the Greyhound industry. Tom won the Kennel Championship this year at Wonderland, and his starters finished 1, 2, 3 in the King and Queen Stakes. Top winners include Bob's Dash, the winner of the Irish American Stakes, Bob's Nebraska, and Bob's Radar. This is also Tom's first appearance at Dairyland. From the 5-box, Bob's Metroplex from Wonderland, Revere, Massachusetts. Bob's Metroplex being led tonight by Ryan Zarnecki. In post position 6, it's Shiver Me Timber at 79 pounds. Shiver Me Timber is by Patsy Best Jet out of Sherry Can Do from the Plum Creek Kennel. Shiver Me Timber is the winner of the $10,000 Colorado Derby. Shiver Me Timber is trained by Dan Beaton, who's been training Greyhounds for 19 years. Two of his major stars include Casey Bobby Will Win and Trooper Zeke. He counts the Sunflower Stakes, Timberline Derby, Rhode Island Derby, Mobile Derby, and the Kansas City Sprint Championship among his top scores. No stranger to Dairyland, Dan raced here briefly last year. In post position 6, it's Shiver Me Timber from the Mile High Kennel Club in Denver, Colorado. Shiver Me Timber being led to post by Kira Lilly. Next in post position 7, it's Mo Kick, 68 1/2 pounds. Mo Kick is by Jig Jag Mo out of Mo's Silver from the New Horizon Kennel. 1 week ago tonight, Mo Kick won the St. Croix Meadows Derby in Hudson, Wisconsin. Mo Kick is trained by J.R. Main, who's been in the Greyhound industry for 14 years. He currently has 55 Greyhounds based at St. Croix Meadows, where he ranks 10th in the standings and 4th in money earned this season. In post position 7, it's Mo Kick, who calls Biscayne, Miami Shores, Florida, home. Mo Kick being led this evening by Rachel Twist. Completing the field for the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup is number 8, Dickey Valley, at 63 pounds. Dickey Valley is by Rudy Valley out of Kay's Purple Haze from the A.M. Bud Trello Kennel. Dickey Valley was the winner of the $30,000 Dairyland Derby and the Derby rematch. He's trained by Dick Child, who's been a trainer of Greyhounds since 1969. He's trained champions in his time, including E.T.'s Pesky at the 1987 Race of Champions, and finished 1-2 that same year with E.T.'s Half and Half and E.T.'s Boogans in the $100,000 Flagler International. Other key wins include his 1985 Dubuque Derby, the 1988 Juvenile, and the 1990 Southland Derby. Dick has been here at Dairyland since January. In post position number 8, Dairyland's own Dickey Valley, being led to post by Jason Eckernes. And that's the field for Dairyland's $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Let's go back upstairs to the call follow the race from the voice of Dairyland, Ryan Walters.
Thank you, Steve Imming. There they are, the 8 contestants for tonight's $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Up next, the 1991 $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup.
When he gave me my diamond...
Welcome back. The stage is set. The Greyhounds are in the box for the 1991 $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Here's the call. And they're off. It's 7, Shiver. No kick out on the break. 8 on the outside is Dickey Valley. 1 on the inside. Leading the way down the front stretch is Pros High Gear. Pros High Gear with 7 Mo kick. 2 in third is Skimar Clarinet in the escape turn. Leading the way down the backstretch, Pros High Gear number 1. Then Skimar Clarinet. On the outside is Mo kick. In fourth, it's number 4, FMC's Wake Up. Here they come to the wire in the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Number 2, Skimar Clarinet with 6 on the outside. It's too close to call. The judges have called for a photo to determine the winner in tonight's 11th race.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Dairyland, we certainly thank you all for being here tonight with us to witness this exciting race. You have just seen 8 of the finest middle-distance greyhounds in the world perform. All 8 of these greyhounds will be featured later this fall in November in the Greyhound Race of Champions in Jacksonville, Florida. We are certainly, or we would like certainly to thank all of the owners and trainers who brought their greyhounds here for this race. We were kind of hoping that we might have a 8-dog dead heat. But anyway, we certainly congratulate Dan and Shiver Me Timbers.
On behalf of Plum Creek Kennel, I'd like to thank Miller Brewing Company and Dairyland Management for inviting us to this race. It was just an honor to be here.
Dan, we had mentioned earlier it's really kind of a surprise in many stakes races to see a greyhound come from that far back. Any doubts tonight?
Yeah, I sure did with all this speed. I just hoped he could get through, and he finally worked his way through.
How about surface-wise? Can you compare the mile-high track he came off of running at Dairyland?
It's about like this one.
So, Dan, you've got some background here, having trained at Dairyland in the past. That helpful at all here?
Yeah.
You're not going to tell us in what way?
No. I don't really know.
We mentioned before the race that Dan has been involved in a number of big stakes race wins. How would you compare this with the others?
This is right up there with any of them.
Dan's a man of few words, but he gets the job done. Congratulations again with Shiver Me Timbers.
Thank you, Steve.
Dan Beaton, trainer of the winner of tonight's Miller Cup Invitational, Shiver Me Timbers. Back to you, Brian.
Once again, congratulations to Shiver Me Timber from the Plum Creek Kennel and his trainer, Dan Beaton. Up next, Gordon Waite.
And here comes Barney for the 91 Futurity, and they're off.
It's 4 breaking in the middle of the track. 3 right there. 1, 8, 5, 2, 6, 7. Foster's Bruce in the 4-coat leads the way into the dune. Cook and Cap wears the 3 on the outside. Demandin' rides the rail in the 1. Flying down the back. Foster's Bruce in the 4 wants to run away with it. Demandin' looks good on the rail. Second in the 1, 3, 5. Around the far turn they go. Demandin' in the 1 coach today can control. Cook and Cap wears the 3 there. Second 4 hanging on. And down the stretch they're coming home. The 1991 Dairyland is turning Demandin'. Thank you once again, our winner of the $20,000 Dairyland Futurity from the Terry Creek Kennel, Demandin'. Now back upstairs to Bob Thacker. Here comes Barney, and they're off. It's 6 in the middle of the track with lead, 7 right alongside, 8, 5, 4, 3, 1, and 2. Into the first turn, they have 6 and 7, 8 there. All 6 now grabs lead, 7 right alongside, 4 on the rail. Streaking down the back, 6 and 7 battling on the front end, 8 on the outside, 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3. Into the far turn they go. That's Rejuvenator in the 6-go with the lead. But Get Serious, where's the 7? And down the stretch they're coming. Oh, it's Rejuvenator at 12-1.
Welcome back. This year at Dairyland, we hosted a number of top-quality stakes races, both in-house and open entry events. On April 6th, the final of this season's first stakes races was contested over the 5/16th mile course. This was the $75,000 Dairyland Open. The Open accepted entries from Dairyland and around the country. The final 8 included Iowa Betty, who was the 1990 Great Kansas Shootout winner and had scored 11 straight at Clover Leaf. Barra Buzz from the Woodlands, who raced a stretch duel with Iowa Betty in the Great Kansas Shootout, also made the top 8. James E. O'Donnell's Noisy Noise, who later became Dairyland's first 20-win getter this year, was the only entry to win all 3 rounds. But it was John Seaboy's My Bocephus who shot up the rail to capture the first $75,000 Dairyland Open. Watch as number 2, Barra Buzz, and number 8, Iowa Betty, give a repeat performance of the 1990 Great Kansas Shootout when number 1, My Bocephus, closes on the leaders and beats Iowa Betty at the wire by a neck in a time of 30.96 seconds over the 5/16th mile course.
And they're off with the early lead. It's Iowa Betty on the outside, Fabian's Friend up on the inside, Barra Buzz, then it's GH's Pride and Joy in the field. Down the backstretch, it's Iowa Betty out in front by 3 lengths over Barra Buzz. On the outside, that's My Bocephus. Then on the inside, Ginger Fire moves up. GH's Pride and Joy in the field. Rounding the final turn, it's Iowa Betty on top. Down the home stretch, Iowa Betty on the inside, My Bocephus. At the wire, My Bocephus, Iowa Betty, and Barra Buzz.
On June 20th, Dairyland was a year old, and as part of the celebration, a hot box race was put together by the racing office. The race pitted Open champion My Bocephus of the John C. Boyd Kennel, James E. O'Donnell's Noisy Noise, who was the season win leader at the time, last year's sprint champion Exarban Duke of the Abernathy Kennel, Herb Kerner's Dutch Class, who is Dairyland's current win leader, Amtrello's Dan Chandler, who had a streak of 4 straight going into the race, and a new pup at Dairyland, Best by Far of the Boyd Thornclaw Kennel, who broke his maiden this year on February 27th. Watch as the youngster of the field, Best by Far, from the 8-box shows a couple of old dogs some new tricks.
And they're off. On the break, it's 7 on the outside, heading towards the rail with 8 now out in front and 1 in the first turn. It's 8, Best by Far, pulling away from the field, but 1, Dutch Class in second. It's 8, 1, 2, 6, 7, 5, 3, and 4 as they hit the far turn. It's 8, Best by Far. Here they come to the wire in the hot box feature. It's 8, Best by Far, 2, Exarban Duke in second.
On July 6th, Dairyland hosted its second annual $25,000 sprint. A new crop of sprinters made the final. None of last year's finalists, including sprint champion Exarban Duke, made the final. it was Foster's Bruce from the Rainbow Kennel breaking his maiden on May 15th and only having 18 lifetime starts before the final that reigned victoriously to become this year's sprint champion. Watch as number 8, Foster's Bruce, gains control of the field at the first turn and heads his way to a championship in a time over the 5/16 mile course of 30.90 seconds.
And they're off. On the break, it's 8, 7, 1. Down the stretch, it's 8 up on top, followed by 3, 1, 4. Into the first turn, 8. Still up on top, Foster's Bruce, followed by 1, Victor, and 3. Down the backstretch, it's 8, 1, 2, 3. Spinning into the final turn, it's 8, Foster's Bruce, still up on top, followed by Victor. Coming down this wire, it's 8, 1, 2. At the wire, it's Foster's Bruce.
The $30,000 Dairyland Derby final was held on August 17th over the 3/8 mile course. David Lingle's Alyssa's Clipper was the only finalist to make the final unbeaten, but it was A.M. Trello's Dickie Valley who prevailed and went on to make history for the Trello Kennel and Dairyland. Watch as number 7 Dickie Valley breaks from the 7 box fourth, but passes the crowd favorite out on the first pass of the grandstand to take the Derby by 4.5 lengths.
And they're off. It's number 1, Alyssa's Clipper, out on the box, out on top with 7 on the outside. That's Dickie Valley. Down the front stretch, it's 1 and 7 in the lead with 5, 8, 6, 3, 2, and 4. Dickie Valley takes the lead in the escape turn. Number 7 with 1, Alyssa's Clipper in second. It's 5, Angela's As I Am, and 8, Smash a Buck. Down the backstretch, into the far turn, 7, Dickie Valley the leader with 1, Alyssa's Clipper. Here they come to the wire, 7, Dickie Valley in the lead with 1, Alyssa's Clipper coming on strong. It's 8, Smash a Buck in third.
The next stake race on Dairyland's race card was the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. This is the richest stakes race at Dairyland, and the entries are by invitation only from Director of Racing Scott Bays. Some of the top greyhounds from around the country were invited to compete over the 3/8 mile course. Dairyland's invitee was Derby winner Dickie Valley. From top down, here's how the field matched up. American Greyhound Derby winner Pros High Gear in the 1 box, Florida World Champ Skimar Clarinet, Jacksonville 3/8 track record holder M.L. Tater, Kansas City Sprint Champion FMC's Wake Up, Colorado Derby winner Shiver Me Timber, St. Croix Meadows Derby winner Mo Kick, and out of the 8 box, our own Dickie Valley. Watch as number 6, Shiver Me Timber, makes a big move down the stretch to come from 5th to win by a nose.
And they're off. It's 7, Shiver Mo Kick out on the break. 8 on the outside is Dickie Valley. 1 on the inside, leading the way down the front stretch is Pros High Gear. Pros High Gear with 7, Mo Kick. 2 in third is Skimar Clarinet in the escape turn. Leading the way down the backstretch, Pros High Gear number 1, then Skimar Clarinet. On the outside is Mo Kick. In fourth, it's number 4, FMC's Wake Up. Here they come to the wire in the $100,000 Miller Invitational Cup. Number 2, Skimar Clarinet with 6 on the outside. It's too close to call.
As a note, Mo Kick, who finished 5th, went on to win the Greyhound Race of Champions last month in Florida. Dairyland's last stakes race of the season will start qualifying tomorrow night. The $20,000 Dairyland Futurity hits the top 2-year-olds at the track. To be eligible for the race, a greyhound had to have broken his or her maiden between December 1st, 1990 and November 27th of this year. Some of the entries include sprint champion Foster's Bruce, best by far win of the first anniversary stakes, and Sad Scooter, who is number 2 in season wins with 26. 40 entries go to post tomorrow night. Don't miss the excitement in the 1991 Dairyland Futurity. When we return, who's hot at Dairyland? Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of the Dairyland Greyhound Park Report. I'm your host, Bob Thacker. On tonight's show, we'll look at some of the closing activities from the 1991 season, including the retirement of one of Dairyland's favorite greyhounds. We'll see who finished on top for the 1991 season and look at the 1992 inaugural stakes held last Friday night. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Exarban Duke has been a household name ever since our opening season in 1990. The 89-pound powerhouse from the Abernathy Kennel won our hearts with his late closing running style, which kept us on the edge of our seats as he dominated his competitors. The Big Red Machine won the 1990 $25,000 Dairyland Sprint and finished the Dairyland season with a record of 18 wins, 11 seconds, and 3/3 in 38 starts. He was voted to the 1990 All-American team, in which only 8 Greyhounds around the country are selected, and was voted to the 1990 All-World Sprint team. Exarban Duke raced well in 1991, but it was the decision of the Abernathy Kennel and owner Bill Elliott to retire the Duke to stud after this season at the age of 4.5 years. The 8th race on December 15th, Exarban Duke raced his last race in front of a crowd of 3,457. Kenosha Mayor Pat Moran declared that day Exarban Duke Day. He finished his Dairyland career with a record of 31 wins, 22 seconds, and 10/3 in 84 starts. The Duke finished 4th closing night, but he still finished as champion as we go trackside for the retirement ceremony.
Around the far turn they go. 8 trying to maintain lead. 3 on the rail. Exarban Duke sits third. And down the stretch they're coming home. It's the 3 in front.
Tonight is a very special night in Dairyland's history. One of our premier athletes is hanging up his muzzle for a new career on the farm. Exarban Duke is the first athlete in Dairyland's history to be named both All-American and All-World. Mayor Patrick Moran of Kenosha would like me to read the following proclamation. Whereas Exarban Duke from the Abernathy Kennel at Dairyland Greyhound Park has been a true champion in every sense of the word. And whereas Exarban Duke is the first Greyhound in Dairyland's history to be named to both the All-America team and the All-World team, and whereas Exarban Duke will be finishing his illustrious racing career on Sunday, December 15th, 1991 at Dairyland Greyhound Park. Now, therefore, I, Patrick E. Moran, Mayor of the City of Kenosha, do hereby proclaim Sunday, December 15th, 1991 as Exarban Duke Day in the City of Kenosha and recognize Exarban Duke to be one of the sport's finest athletes. On behalf of everyone here at Dairyland, we'd like to thank owner Bill Elliott, kennel operator Jim Abernathy, and trainer Lamar Collins for sharing Exarban Duke with us for the past 19 months. Thanks for the memories. Now back upstairs to Bob Thacker.
Up next, the final of the 1991 $20,000 Dairyland Futurity and the Au Revoir Stakes. Welcome back. After 3 rounds of qualifying in early December, 8 of the top 2-year-old Greyhounds that broke their maiden last year at Dairyland competed December 15th in the $20,000 added money final. Breaking out of the box was 1991 sprint champion Foster's Bruce, who took a 3-length lead at the top of the first turn. But a late rush from the wagering favorite Demanded in the red blanket came on to capture the Futurity by 2.5 lengths in a time of 31.01 seconds.
And here comes Barney for the 91 Futurity, and they're off. It's 4 breaking in the middle of the track. 3 right there. 1, 8, 5, 2, 6, 7. Foster's Bruce in the 4-coat leads the way into the dune. Cook and Cap wears the 3 on the outside. Demanding rides the rail in the 1. But laying down the back there. Foster's Bruce in the 4 wants to run away with it. Demanding looks good on the rail. Second in the 1, 3, 5. Around the far turn they go. Demanding in the 1 coach today can control. Cook and Cap wears the 3 there. Second 4 hanging on. And down the stretch they're coming home. The 1991 Dairyland Futurity Demanding.
Traditionally, the last race of the season in Greyhound racing, the racing department puts together a hot box race, hand-selecting their best Greyhounds to race in what is known as the Au Revoir Stakes. In the 13th race on December 15th, track record holder Sandy Speedster was pitted against top win-getter Dutch Class, as well as 6 other top competitors with impressive records. Houndskeeper's Rejuvenator, who finished 4th in the 1990 Futurity, surprised the fans at 12-1, taking the Au Revoir in a box-to-wire victory in 30.97 seconds.
Here comes Barney, and they're off. It's 6 in the middle of the track with lead, 7 right alongside, 8, 5, 4, 3, 1, and 2. Into the first turn they had 6 and 7, 8 there. All 6 now grabs lead, 7 right alongside, 4 on the rail. streaking down the back. That's 6 and 7 battling on the front and 8 on the outside. 4, 5, 1, 2, and 3. Into the far turn they go. That's Rejuvenator in the 6 go with the lead. But Get Serious, where's the 7? And down the stretch they're coming. Oh, it's Rejuvenator at 12-1.
And here are the top kennels for 1991. The Herb Kerner kennel finished on top with 431 wins in 2,763 starts. The Mike Kugler kennel finished second with 371 wins in 2,825 starts. The Rainbow kennel finished third with 365 wins in 2,637 starts. The James E. O'Donnell kennel finished fourth with 343 wins in 2,753 starts. And rounding out the top 5 for 1991 was the A.M. Trello kennel with 329 wins in 2,484 starts. The winningest Greyhounds were Dutch Class from the Herb Kerner kennel with 31 wins. Sad Scooter, also from the Kerner kennel, finished second with 27 wins. Rejuvenator from the Houndskeeper kennel finished third with 25 wins. Mike Kugler's Get Serious finished fourth with 23 wins. And Beth Toby from the Nova kennel rounded out the top 5 with 22 wins. After the 5th race on December 15th, closing night's performance, the Kerner kennel and their top dog were honored in a special trackside trophy presentation. On hand was Dairyland President and CEO Arden Hartman, General Manager Ron Stoltemeyer, Director of Racing Scott Bays, kennel owner Herb Kerner, kennel manager Bill Scott, trainer Marvin Kimball, and assistant trainer Carolyn Crenshaw. Up next, a great start for 1992.